Chumash and Rashi for Tuesday, the 5th of Kislev, November 25th. We left off yesterday. Yaakov met Rachel by the well. And Lavan invited Yaakov home, saw that Yaakov was a good worker, and because of that, he said to Yaakov, "What's your wages? I want to keep you on payroll. I want to keep you on staff." So he says, "I will work." Well, let's see. And we said before Yaakov answered, the narrator of the Torah says that what do you want for your wages, O Yaakov? Said Lavan. The narrator says, and Lavan had two daughters, Leah the elder one, and the younger one was Rachel. And Leah's eyes were tender, and Rachel's a beautiful appearance. And that's where we left off. Yirches, Vayehav Yaakov es Rachel. Yaakov loved Rachel. Vayemer, and he said, Evadcha sheva shanim. I will work for you 7 years. Rachel bitcha haktana. For Rachel, your younger daughter. Yudches, Evadcha sheva shanim. I will work for you for 7 years. Rashi, I worked 7 years. 7 years. Wait a second. His mother said, go for yamim achadim. Go for a few days till Esav cools down. He says, yes, that is the short while.
Who told Yaakov that Laban was a swindler?
I don't know. He knew. This is a short while. His mother said, go for a short while. And this is indeed, 7 years could be a short while.
Well, they lived longer.
Why was it a short while? It says in verse 20, they seemed like a few days by him.
Love, right?
Out of his love, the 7 years was like a few days. This is derived by the means of Gezerah Shava, because similar words.
Which one?
Yamim achadim. Rivka said go for a few days, and it says they seem like a few days. So implies that he wasn't going against his mother. He was doing what his mother meant in a few days, short while. Rachel bitcha haktana. Okay. Why does it say your Rachel, your daughter, the youngest? She Rachel. Because Yaakov knew Lavan was a swindler. So he said to him, I work for Rachel. And in case you're going to do your tricky stuff with me, you're going to bring another girl from the street named Rachel, right? You'll change your neighbor's daughter's name to Rachel and give her in marriage to me. So I say, Bitcha, no, your daughter, not somebody else. Maybe you're going to say, I'm going to switch Leah's name to Rachel and Rachel to Leah. Maybe you do it, you'll go to the birth certificate, and you'll change the name, so I'll get Leah because she'll have the name Rachel, right? Very, very clever lawyer, Lavan would have been. Talmud Leimer, so Yaakov saw that, said Haktana, the younger one. And the Af Bichein, with all that precaution, Loi Hayil, it did not help.
Why?
Sharei Rimahu, for Lavan swindled him. Okay. You test. Vayemer Lavan. Lavan replied, Teiv titiye salach. It's better that I give her to you. It's better that I give her to you than I give to another man. Titiye shacher. Then I give it to another man. Shva imadi, stay with me. Chaf. Vayavad Yaakov Rachel Shavshanim. Yaakov worked for Rachel 7 years. Vayu ve'edav kiyam achadim. And those days, those years, seemed like a few days in his eyes. Pavos Yosab, out of his love for her. Chaf Aleph. Vayim Yaakov Lavan. Yaakov is the Lavan. Hava es yishti. Give me my wife. Kimal yamai. For my days have finished. V'vayala, and I will come to her. So Rashi says, my days are up. The time that mother meant I could stay was up to 7 years, and that's up. And it's the end of our contract. Another double meaning of my days are filled up. I am 84 today. I have no children. When will I have the 12 tribes, if not now? This is what he said. I will come to her. This is why he ends off. It's a very uncouth way of saying, give me my wife, and I will come to her. I will be with her. Like, it's very what you're getting uncouth. Like,
crass and crude.
Crass. It sounds crass. Even the lowest of low don't say that, give me the woman so I can be with her. Like, it's very crass.
What it came down to in those days.
No. Say not that's not so. People did not, for sure not Yaakov, but even the regular person, it's not. People say, let me marry her, let me build a home with her. He's speaking very crassly, let me be intimate with her. It's very
But,
what
so why is it there?
So read Rashi. Rashi's saying because he was saying the reason I need to marry her ASAP is because I need to father the Jewish, I have to sire the Jewish nation.
Wow.
The 12 tribes. I mean, he's putting urgency. It's not just I'm entitled to my wife after these 7 years. He's saying, no, it's for a purpose. It's so we can have a family and raise the 12 tribes, 12 sons, or whatever, the sons. That's why it's very blunt, because he's being very blunt, saying that it's not that just you owe it to me and let's move on, but it's an urgency. Chav Beis. So Lavan gathered together all the local people and made a banquet. Chav Beis, no Chav Beis. Chav Gimel. When it was evening, he took Leah. Lavan took Leah's daughter. Love, and he brought it to Yaakov. And he married her.
Well, yeah, but Laban's assuming that he's not going to look at his wife before he marries her.
Let's go. Let's continue. Let's continue. We'll finish the analysis. Chav Dalet. Vayitin Lavan gave to her. And Lavan gave to her this daughter. As Zilpa Shavchasai, he gave his maidservant Zilpa as a maidservant to this bride, his daughter. Leah Bita Shivcha, to be as a maidservant to Leah, his daughter. Chav Hei, Vahiva Baker Vini Leah. Behold, in the morning, it was in the morning, and behold, it was Leah. V'yemer Lavan, so Yaakov said to Lavan, Ma'azeh Sasisali, what did you do to me? Alev Rachel Vati Emach, did I not work for you, for Rachel? Lamar Misani, so why did he deceive me? Rashi, Vahiba Baker Vini Leah. In the morning, Yaakov saw it was really Leah. But by night, it wasn't Leah. What does it mean? Because he didn't realize it was Leah at night when he consummated the marriage. If you
no light.
No lights. I think there's a few reasons we can say. If you Yaakov,
allowed to talk, A voice can give it away too.
So the actions you say that because let's finish the Rashi, then we'll analyze it. Yaakov gave special signs to Rachel. And Rachel saw that they brought him that Rachel saw that Leah was being brought as the bride. She said, "Now my sister will be mortally ashamed." Amda Masalah, she gave her the signs. So the question is how did Yaakov, besides the secret code or whatever it was, how did he not realize who he's with? So I didn't look it up. In the Tauber Chumash, probably has all the opinions.
Is that the one that I have here?
Yes.
Sorry, I apologize for being lax on that.
So that's really we're going to get. So I'm looking. I think. I'm looking at. Looking online quickly. So it was very dark.
What was the sign, a ticket or something? I couldn't have been the voice.
It could be there was no talking. It's possible.
That's what it says.
These opinions. I'm looking
No, I
online.
understand.
Another comes as no. Okay, whatever. So I don't know. You have to look it up there for more, authoritative. But that's it. It was dark. There were no talking, and it's not like he was, courting Rachel for 7 years. It could be that they were separated. So it wasn't like he was so familiar with her in his 7 years of working for her.
It's a good thought.
Some actually say, yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
I have a question on another matter. I forget, what were the signs? Do you remember? No?
I don't know.
Okay.
Okay. Moving along. Chav Vav. Vayemer Lavan, Lavan said, replied to Yaakov's indignation, Lo yosechem mikimenu. It is not done in our place, to give the younger daughter in marriage for the elder. Now you tell me, right? Chav Zayin. So he says, I propose the following. Mali Shavuos, complete the 7 days of feasting for the Sheva Brachas for this one. And we'll give to you also this one, for the work you'll do with me, for another 7 years. You can have Leah's. It's too late. Your 7 years went to Leah. I'll give you Rachel next week if you agree to work another 7 years. Total 4.
Next week means after 7 more years.
No. I'll give you her right away in a week on credit that you're going to work for me another 7 years.
Oh, he gave them both. He had both of them that week.
Yes, he married Leah week 1. He married Rachel week 2.
So, but that commits him for another 7 years.
Exactly.
So the negotiations continue. And in a way, this is a little bit of retribution for what Yaakov had done with this.
That's what a lot of the commentaries. Look in the. You got to spend time in the Chumash. You're going to find a lot of commentary about that. Yes,
I've had some other things that I had. Okay.
Complete the 7 Rashi. Complete the 7 days. This is a construct form, Shavua. That's punctured with a chat with a shva, Shavua. the 7-day period of this one, the 7 days of feasting. In the Gemara Yerushalmi, in Meikatan, that's where it says this. You can't say it means a week. Shavua is not Shavua, because then it would have been with a Shavua. But Shavua is a little different word. Shavua is also masculine tense, as we see in Devarim. Shavua is Tisperlach. Therefore, Shavua is not a calendar week, but it's a period of 7 days.
What's the difference?
Big difference. Let's say they got married on Tuesday. Complete this week. It could be like, by next Sunday you can marry her. What it means, a 7-day period. I mean, we say a week both for the calendar week and a 7-day period. But you think about it, a 7-day period is, a calendar week is not the same thing as a 7-day period. Could start, Monday, and then, could start Tuesday and end Monday. And that's the point.
So completing the week, they go to Shabbos, or what do they do? Or they go to the next Tuesday?
7 days, and after 7 complete days, as we're saying. Finish 7 complete days of the feasting.
And then they're going to do it again.
And then he'll get married to the second. Yeah, exactly.
Sheva brothers, right?
That's some festivity.
Originator.
The Nit Melacha, yeah. Let us
So at
let
the
us
end
give you
of about 2 weeks, he comes out with 4 wives.
2 wives.
2 wives, and then they give him.
That's later. Let us give you. So wait a second. Rashi, Nit Melacha. Let us give you. Nitna is the first person plural form, as is Nitna is Nerda, V'Navla, V'Nisrafa, Avzev, V'Nite, Nitna. Gamazeh is also this one. Immediately after the 7 days of feasting, you will work for her after marrying her. Okay.
Clever guy.
You'll get this one 7 days later, Rachel, and then you'll work for her. Chav Zayin. Chav Ches. Vayas Yaakov, Ken Yaakov did so. Vayimalish Vozais, and completed the 7 days of feasting for that one, for Leah. V'idin Leah's Rachel, B'idin Elisha, and he gave, and Lavan then gave him Rachel, his other daughter, as a wife. Chav Tes, V'idin Lavan Rachel B'itay. Lavan gave Bilam. Lavan gave to his daughter Rachel as Bilah Shevchasei, Bilah his maidservant. Lala Shechat, to be a maidservant for her. Lamed v'yavei gam el Rachel v'yav gam es Rachel Leah. And Yaakov then married Rachel, and he loved Rachel more than Leah. Even more than Leah. Even more. By the way, it's interesting. See the language here. Vayev gam es Rachel Leah. Didn't say he loved Rachel over Leah. He loved Rachel even more. I didn't ever notice that. Which implies he didn't hate Leah in the despising sense. Relative to just he loved Rachel more. So later on when she says, I feel hated, or God says she was hated, it's relative. It's not hated. And he worked with him for another 7 years.
That was her feeling.
Her feeling. Well, yeah, we'll see. For another 7 years. The verse compares Acheres to the first years, meaning it could have said he worked, and he worked for him 7 years. Well, another 7 years. I mean, obviously. So he's saying it's the same tense. The extra another 7 years is to say he did the first he did with, honestly and giving it his all, even though he didn't get cheated yet. But even after he was cheated, he worked for the bonus 7 years with faithfulness as well.
Wow.
I think he would have been justified to leave at that point, just as he did after the 7 years. I mean, he kind of left stealthily anyway. I mean,
well, I think there's a difference. There, he had to escape because the guy wouldn't let him leave. Here it would have broken his integrity, even though it came about in a tricky way. He agreed to it. Ultimately, he said, yes, I'll do it in the 7 years. So his word is his word. It's his own integrity. I think the leaving stealthily wasn't, he didn't owe him anything at that point. So he had to, unfortunately, stealthily, because the guy was a creep.
Plus, if he left, we wouldn't get married till.
No, he could have taken them.
Got married at the beginning, that's what I'm saying.
He could have married them,
Laban
taken them,
had
and gone.
No leverage other than taking.
Oh, then.
Yaakov was honest.
Yep.
I mean, you could see this for people that a deal is a deal, even if you acquiesce under pressure. I mean, not under pressure, but you acquiesce. I mean, I don't know the legal.
What happened with Esau,
You have to compare.
Yaakov.
As a lawyer, you're trying to see the different loopholes of getting out of stuff. I get it, but you have to compare apples to apples and compare. I think the simple thing is he made a deal.
He made a promise, so he's keeping his
Right.
promise. But as a human being, and and in a story where people are already sneaking around everybody,
Right.
else, one way or the other,
Seems to be right. He'd be justified.
He would be justified in a kind of a human sense, able, to just leave.
It's funny. Yaakov is actually, if I'm not mistaken, in the Psukim it says Yaakov is associated with Emes. Titin Emes Liakov. Yaakov is like the epitome of truth, even more so than Abraham and Yitzchak.
Well,
Maybe he was repenting for what happened with Esau and Yitzchak.
Maybe. Hey, look. Hey, you got the Chumash. Look it up.
He said, "Love."
Anyways, moving on. Lamed Aleph. Vayar Hashem kisnu Leah. Hashem saw that Leah was hated. They have an addition. Look what they say. Hashem saw that Leah was hated. Yiftach es rachma. He opened her womb. Varachel lakar, and Rachel was infertile. She felt hated in comparison. She felt like second fiddle. Doesn't mean she was hated, literally.
right.
That's the way they say it here. She felt hated. Okay. Lamed Aleph. Lamed Beis. Vatar Leah v'telabin. Leah became pregnant and gave birth to a son. Vatikra Shema Ruvain, and she named him Ruvain, which means "see my son," or "see a son." Ki Amra, what was her logic? For she said, Kira Hashem ba'ani, for Hashem has seen my pain or my neglect. Kiata Yavani Ishi, now my husband will love me. Rashi. Vatikra Shema Ruvain. Rabbis explained, she said, to see, okay. You want to get a good edition because there's a lot on this. Basically, read the verse, right? Read the verse. What's the why'd she name Ruvain? God has seen my pain, right? And given me a son. Right? Now Rashi though does not like that. He does not he usually just move on. Like the verse is giving a reason for it, and he gives a different reason. The rabbis explained that it was a deeper meaning. See the difference between my son and Lavan, my son, to the son of my father-in-law, of Isaac's eldest son, Esav. Esav sold the Bechorah to Yaakov. Bizel lo mechara liYosef le'irolav. Ruvain lost, prophetically, I guess. He's going to lose the firstborn to Yosef, yet he won't complain about it. Firstborn perks. And not only did he not complain about it, he actually tried to save Yosef.
So doesn't he deserve some kind of credit for that?
So yeah, that's what she's saying. She's saying that the way the word is Ruvain, see, Ruz is not a it's a command. See my son. See the great qualities of my son compared to others. And what that he, Esav despised the birthright and sold it, and he the firstborn right. And my son loses it and doesn't even complain. And the question is, why did Rashi have to add anything here? It says clearly, God has seen. So they say simple on the bottom is that, and the name would have been Ra'ah. Ru is like go see. It's like you go see. It's like telling the world to command. When Ra'ah,
He was being punished. It wasn't that he couldn't protest. He had no ground to protest upon.
Okay, still, we can still be, neither did Esav, but he was upset.
And I have to ask myself another question about Bilhah. He was involved with Bilhah. What was going on there?
When we get there, we'll talk about it. We're not up to there yet.
Yeah.
All right, let's go on. I'm going to think later. Lamed Gimel, Vatar Oid V'Teleben. She again became pregnant. She gave birth to a son. Vatemer, she said, Kisham Hashem Kisnu Anochi. She said, since Hashem heard that I'm hated, Vayitin Li Gamezeh. He has given me this son as well. I take Shimon Shimon, so she named him Shimon. She named him Shimon. Lamed Daled. Batar Oid V'Telben. She again became pregnant. And she said, Ata Pami Lavi Yishelai. She said, now this time my husband will become attached to me. For I have borne him 3 sons. Therefore he named him Levi, which means attached. Rashi. Now my husband will be attached to me. The matriarchs, including Leah, were prophetesses. And they knew there's going to be 12 sons born from Yaakov. And he would marry 4 wives. So she said, now I have a quarter of all the sons, at least three sons. So now no one, Yaakov cannot have any complaint against me. I bore him all 3 sons, the minimum amount from one of the wives. And therefore, it says, wherever there's a son that says therefore, they had a large population. If you look later on, the tribes that have larger census amounts, it's because Al-Kain, therefore. Besides Levi, because the ark decimated them. The ark decimated them. Karashma Levi, he named him Levi. Concerning all the others, it's written, she named. Whereas with this one, the verse writes, he named. There's an Agadic explanation, Dvarim Rabbah, at the Holy One, blessed be, sent the angel Gavriel, and he brought Levi before him. God then called him this name and gave him the right to receive the 24 priestly gifts. And because he accompanied him with these gifts, he called him Levi. So Yaakov gave this name, or the angel Gavriel did, and because it was accompanying with gifts, it became the right of the tribe of Levi. He's called accompaniment. So it's a different. Lamed Hey V'Tahar Oy V'Telabein. She again became pregnant. She gave birth to a son. V'Tem Shirapam Des Hashem. This time I will thank Hashem. Al-Kain Karashmer Yehuda. Therefore, she named him Yehuda. V'Tam Milades. She then stopped bearing children.
This is the 4th son of the 4th generation. That's got to have a big significance?
The third generation.
No.
Oh, he's fourth. Right, fourth, right. Okay, yeah. I don't know. Rashi, though, says, Hapam, this time I will thank, because now I got more than the minimum of 3 sons. So now I'm thankful, because gratitude comes from getting beyond what you feel entitled to, or you feel entitled, or beyond, more than you expect, more than. Okay, Lamed, chapter 30, Pasagal, verse 1. Rachel saw that she did not bear to Yaakov a child, and she got jealous of her sister. She said to Yaakov, give me children. If not, I'm as good as dead. Rashi. Rachel became jealous of her sister. It wasn't typical jealousy like, cat fighting. It was more, she was jealous of her good deeds. She said, she must be more righteous than me, and that's why she merited to have children. I'm not sure why why she thinks that. Maybe she thought that she must have a certain spiritual advantage that has her bear children.
Where do you see that she's thinking that Leah is more righteous than she is?
The first Rashi. Havali of Aleph. Give me children. Is this how your father acted towards your mother? Did he not pray for her? Meaning, don't just stand there, do something. Go pray, like your father prayed for your mother. Mesa Neichi, I'm as good as dead. Here we learn that someone who has no children is considered as dead in a certain context. Beis, V'yich'av Yaakov Rachel. Yaakov became angry at Rachel. And he said, Hasachas l'kim anochi. Am I a substitute for God? Asher mana mimech privaten, who has deprived you of offspring. Rashi. Hasachas, rhetorical. Am I in his place? Asher mana mimech, who has deprived you at the meresher esakaba. You say I should act like my father. Ani any kaba. I'm not like my father. Because Abba levanim, my father, he himself had no children. So he davened. But me, I have children. But you have no children. Because God is only deprived you, not me. I mean, that's why it sounds kind of mean, insensitive. I think what he's saying is,
You've got a nice beat there.
Thank you. I think it's more like she's saying, it's on you, Yaakov, to pray. And he's saying, no, it's on you to pray. I think that's more you're trying to compare it to precedent of Yitzchak and Rivka. There, you can't say, there was a certain aspect he had to pray because he was praying for himself. We know in general, it's better to pray. We said from the Yishmael, right? The prayer of the individual is more potent than people praying for the individual. Remember the Yishmael, I think he prayed for himself or something, or I forgot exactly. The point is that if you want to be effective, you go pray. Then she counters. She then said, here's my maidservant Bilhah, marry her, she will bear children whom I will raise on my knees. I will too have children through her. Rashi al Birkai Ketergumai Vana Rabe, meaning she'll bear them, and I'll be, I'll raise them. And thus too I will have children. What's the thus too? She said, your grandfather Avram had children. And from Hagar. And yet he, girded his loins and exerted himself in prayer for Sarah. So she said to her, he said back to her, it's not exactly the same thing. My grandmother selflessly brought in Hagar, her rival wife, to the house. And that merit of that is why he prayed for her, why God gave her a child. So she said, if that's what's dependent, then here, take my maidservant too. And I'll be built up from her just as Sarah has. So, in other words, what's really the conversation? Pray for me like your father prayed for your mother. He says, but that's not a fair comparison. My father was praying for himself. I can't pray for myself because I have children. You pray for yourself. It's more potent. But then she said, wait a second. Your grandfather had children, yet he prayed for Sarah. He says, yeah, but there was an extra factor there. She did a great merit to bring in her rival to her house to bear Avram children, at least through that. And that was a great merit that she deserved children. She said, okay, so now I can be like that too, said Rachel. I'll bring in my maidservant and I'll give her to you. So she gave Bilhah her maidservant to him as a wife, and he married her.
Didn't Sarah and Abraham have an argument that Abraham was not praying for her? Or was that Isaac?
It was when she gave Hagar, and Hagar was disrespectful. She had less respect for her. So she got upset that Abram wasn't protesting that.
Oh.
It's a little different. Okay, Dalid, hey, verse 5. Vatar Bilhah vatil Yaakov ben. Bilhah became pregnant, she bore Yaakov a son. Vavatimi Rachel danan likim. Rachel then said, God has judged me. V'gam shema v'keli. God has also accepted my prayers. V'yitin li ben. He has given me a son. Al-Kain Kadosh Medan, she therefore named him Dan. Denani Elikim, God has judged me. Denani V'chivani V'zikani, God has judged me and found me guilty and judged me and found me free of guilt. Din can mean punish and judge, right? You could carry out justice for champion a cause. So the measures both sentences. God first punished Rachel, make her barren, and then championed her cause by giving her now a son.
When they say back in Dala, when it says that he married her, it's the Yavo Eleha Yaakov. Is that all it takes to marry someone? Is to have sex with them?
Back in the if it's done as a consummation of marriage, it is one of the three mechanisms to get married. The reality, though, is we don't do that. We do the other mechanism, which is the giving a ring or thing of value to consummate the marriage.
So he was just acting on the encouragement of his wife.
That in those days, it was considered an acceptable way to herald in the marriage by being in private and having intimacy, and then that's the married.
Gotcha.
So even in later in Torah, it is a valid mechanism. The rabbis forbade it though because it's too prone to inappropriateness, right? It's too. Zayin Vatar Ovetila Bilhah Shivchas Rachel. Bilhah Rachel's maidservant again became pregnant. Bain Shein Yaakov, she bore a son to Yaakov, second son. Ches Vatim Rachel Naftali Kinaftalti. So Rachel gave the name. She said, "I have persisted with many pleas before Hashem in Machoisi to be equal with my sister Gam Yecholti, and I have succeeded." Vatikra Shema Naftali. She named him Naftali. Plea. Ches Naftali Likim. Menachem and Saruk, one of Rashi's sources, a lexicographer, explained this expression in his Machberes, in his dictionary, under the entry of Tzamid Pasil, that had been attached to my sister with bonds from Hashem by marrying to have children. But I explain it to a different expression, from Ikesh Basalto, which means perverted and warped. In other words, I have persisted and made twisting and turning, compelling pleas and connivances. I prayed my guts out to Hashem with all types of ways to be equal to my sister, to have children, in my name, whatever.
Lexicographer. Michael, do you know what a lexicographer is?
Lexicographer.
A dictionary person, someone who makes dictionaries.
I have succeeded. Gamicholti. Rashi says God has agreed to my pleas. Unkelis, however, translates it a third way. Naftuli in a way of prayer. Naftuli likim naftalti, meaning I offered many prayers that are pleasing to God, and I was accepted and answered like my sister. I prayed and I was received. My prayers were received. Niftalti means niskabel tfilasi. So we have three understandings in Rashi. Medrash Haggadah, there's many medrash on this, and the Naphtali is a abbreviation of things. I'm not sure. Okay, Yud, almost done. She bore, Zilpah bore the maidservant of Leah to Yaakov his son. Zilpah. So interesting, even though till now it said Vatahar Vatelid. The woman conceived and gave birth. Here it skips the conception. Doesn't say it, this doesn't mention it. Why? So it says because Zilpah was the youngest out of all of them. And she was actually a child in age. I don't know what that means, what age exactly, but she was younger. And therefore, it was not noticeable that when she became pregnant. And in order to trick what, so now we get a little detail about earlier. Why was Zilpah given to Rachel and Bilhah to Bilhah to Rachel and Zilpah to Leah? Because I'm sorry, I skipped the pasuk test. Vatera Leah kiyam Leah saw she stopped giving birth. Vatikach Zilpah shavchas she took Zilpah her maidservant. Vatitnes Yaakov Isha she gave Yaakov as a wife, and gave her to Yaakov as a wife.
That's a little more. That's different than when Bilhah was given to Yaakov. He says the Yaakov le Isha. It's a little more.
It said that,
a little more polite.
Oh. No. There it said it also in the said the same thing. Verse Pasuk Dalet. Anyways, so now in this a detail from before. Why did Leah get Bilhah, Zilpah? Because in one of the few things I remember from my elementary school in Cheder was how do you know who's the older, who's the younger? Bilhah's Bays, Zilpah's Zion. Bays comes from Zion. But why the older one go to the younger daughter and the older or the younger? It was part of the trick. Because it would be obvious that he's giving the older daughter, right? Yaakov is marrying the younger daughter. It would have been appropriate to give a younger maidservant. But he specifically wanted to look like, when he gave Rachel, it was in the impression he's giving the younger daughter as a wife. So he gave her, but it was really Leah. Mm-hmm. So he gave Zilpah to Leah because he's trying to make it look like, oh, it's my younger daughter with her younger maidservant.
Doesn't make sense.
Lavan was pulling off a ruse.
Yeah.
He was presenting the bride as Rachel, but it really was Leah.
Right.
There's two maidservants. One's older, Bilhah, one's younger, Zilpah. Who would be the one to give, if you're marrying off your younger daughter, who would be the maidservant to give? The younger daughter. Be her, bride of honor. Her maiden of honor. Or her whatever, her maiden.
Older, younger.
Who would be the one to serve Rachel? The younger. The younger. Right. So when he was presenting, it was Rachel as the bride to complete the ruse. The accompaniment maidservant was the younger maidservant. In reality, who was it? It was Leah.
Older.
So Leah.
So he could recognize the maidservants, but not the brides.
Well, there was a veil. The whole thing was a veil.
Okay.
Anyways.
Older.
Yud Aleph. The timer Leah Bagod. So Leah named this child of of her maidservant, good luck has come. Vatikra my God, and she called his name God. Rashi, God. God means Mazel Tov. Good luck has come. Megad Gadi v'Sanak Law. The Medrash explains it differently. That God means cut because he was born circumcised.
He's good.
And I don't know, according to these explanations, Rashi says, I don't know why it's written as one word. Bagad is the way it's written in the Torah is Beis Gimel Daled, but it's really ascendant. It's two words. It's Boy God, Beis Aleph God. Understand? The way it's written in the Torah is Beis Gimel Daled. It's not if it's good luck has come or he came circumcised. Boy is one word, and God's another. So why are you saying Bagad? Why are you slinging it up?
Bogod be begged like a garment or something like that?
No, listen. So based on that, Rashi's to give another explanation. Why is the word presented as unusually as a contracted version of two words into one bagad? Because bagad also means disloyal. It's as if she was intimating a secondary meaning. You've been disloyal to me by marrying my maidservant, like a man who was unfaithful to the wife of his youth. But then she gave, the obvious question, footnote 60 is she gave the maidservant.
Yeah.
So she wasn't doing it as a complaint to Yaakov. She was doing it to evoke mercy, right? Giving your maidservant as another wife was considered a very selfless act. And that was to show, look, it's as if my husband is disloyal, meaning I'm being selfless here, and therefore I deserve mercy. Yud Gimel, Yud Beis, Vatela Zilpa B'Shivchas Leah, Zilpa Leah's maidservant, then bore Yaakov a second, Ben Shin Yaakov, she bore a second son. Yud Gimel, Vatem Leah Ba'ashri, Ki Yeshurni, she said, I am praised, Ki Yeshurni Banais, for women now praise me. Vatikra Shmei Asher, so she named him Asher.
That's me.
Are you Asher?
I'm Usher. Usher Barrel.
Praised. Asher Barrel. Okay. That ends.